This is Hall County Sports, brought to you by Green Ford on Browns Bridge Road in Gainesville. Check out the latest deals. Remember, when you go Green Ford. By Mountain View Auto Repair, a full-service shop for all of your automotive needs. Call Danny at Mountain View Auto Repair, 770-535-7278. And by McKelvey Road United Methodist Church. Visit us on McKelvey Road in Oakwood. With 3 worship services, Kids Town, and adult small groups, McKelvey Road United Methodist Church, dedicated to transforming the world through the good news of Jesus Christ. Hello again, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Hall County Sports Television. I'm your host, Gary Glenn. We got a jam-packed show this week as we talk about University of Georgia night in Gainesville later on in the show. But first, the high school playoffs, the postseason opponents, and a bunch of sports. We open the show this week with high school baseball. Gainesville 13-1 win over Cedar Shoals, combined with Loganville's 10-9 loss to Salem last week, clinched Gainesville's second straight 8-5A baseball crown. Caleb Whittington and Harrison Stiles combined to no-hit the Jaguars at Ivy Watson. Whittington also helped his own cause at the plate, smacking a 2-run home run. The Elephants then ended the regular season with a bang, thumping the Jags 11-1 over in Athens. At the plate, Drew Satterfield led the Red Elephants with 3 hits and 4 RBI. Anthony Carrera had a double and a home run with 5 RBI for the Elephants, who won their 20th game of the season with that one. Michael Geddes smacked a homer while on the mound. Sam Carpenter picked up the win with 8 strikeouts over 5 innings, and the Elephants will be hosting Tucker in the playoffs first round. West Hall clinched third place in Region 7 AAA after Mercer reeling Fannin County 11-1 in 5 innings last week. Will Simmons went to 6-2 on the year after striking out 3 and giving up just 3 hits in a complete game effort. At the plate, leaders included Zach Collins with 2 hits and 1 RBI, Zach English with a hit and 2 RBI, and Cameron Johnson also with a hit and 2 RBI. The Spartans left no doubt as to who should be the number 3 seed when they knocked off number 4 seed White County 6-1 on senior night at Spartan Field. The Spartans used a big 6th inning to break the game open. English scored the first run after a triple and then stole home when the Warriors threw to first after a strikeout and a drop ball. Zach also scored what proved to be the game winner after walking in the 6th and eventually scoring on a wild pitch. Brian Newman had a hit in that inning and scored. Simmons was hit and scored. Cam Warner had an RBI single, Collins an RBI double, and Dustin Gaddis a 2 RBI single. Quite a turnaround for Coach Dustin Rinspies and the Spartans as they get set to play at Ringgold in the opening round of the AAA playoffs this weekend. First of all, Coach, congratulations on the win, ending the regular season with a win, the 18th win of the season. A turnaround season. I think maybe you surprised everybody, maybe but you.
We thought we could be pretty good. 11-15 a year ago, and returned a lot of guys coming back. And tell you what, a hard summer and a hard fall. They put in a lot of work, and they believed. They believed in the program. They believed in themselves, and we achieved 18 wins, and we're going to the playoffs.
I got to ask you about senior night. They took out a couple of your seniors, but you left some others in. What were the thoughts there?
Well, I told the seniors, we've clinched third place. This game was purely for record. And I told the seniors, I said, I'm going to leave it up to you. You tell me how you want to go out. Do you want to play the game? Do you want to, play an inning and touch the field one more time and then, come out? It's up to you. And 2 of them said that they wanted a rest, so I started them, and then I wanted to make sure that everybody got the opportunity to acknowledge them since they weren't going to play the rest of the game. So that's why we did that. What we did there.
Okay. Well, it turns out you go into the playoffs on a high note. Closing out senior night, home crowd, big win, put together a big 6th inning.
Finally made some adjustments. Yeah, it's an emotional night. It's senior night. Seniors wanted to go out on a win at the same time. Yeah, they're emotional tonight. They're going through. This is the last home game. We got a good crowd here supporting them, and I think it took a little while for everybody to get their feet on the ground, and we put together some good at-bats, and we had good pitching, which all 3 seniors pitched tonight, so it was a good win. I'm happy that they're going out on a high note here.
Now it's on to Ringgold. Do you know anything about the Tigers, and do you do a lot of scouting in baseball? Certainly not to the extent that the football coaches do with all the film and stuff.
Yeah, we don't have film in baseball. They got a top-notch program. I mean, they've got some history behind their program. That coach over there does a really good job. It's going to be a tough matchup. I know it's going to be a rowdy place. It's a home crowd for them. And, of course, it's the playoffs, so emotions are going to probably be running pretty high. We're just going to get ourselves ready to go play our brand of baseball and go over there and give them our best shot.
All right, Coach. Good luck to the Spartans.
Thank you.
Now, Zach English was the Spartans' quarterback last fall and got a taste of playoff football. This spring, he's helping lead the baseball team into the postseason. All right, Zach. Tonight watch you score the first run after tripping, and then you score what proves to be the winning run. How bad? I mean, I know you had third place all locked up. How bad did you guys want to close out the regular season with a win?
Well, especially for all the seniors, we don't, finish off our regular season with a win, being our last game at home. But, we just, every game is very important to us, no matter what the circumstance is.
So momentum going in the playoffs, too?
Yes, very much. A big win against a good team at White County will help us out against Greenville.
You made the playoffs as a football player. Here you're making the playoffs as a baseball player. You're undefeated as a pitcher. What kind of senior season has this been for you?
It's been a magical season. I just got to give thanks to the Lord. He's blessed me so much this year. But, like all that, just having great senior leadership by everybody, just having some fun with everybody, just being a close-knit brotherhood.
And it's all about having some fun here in high school. Huh?
Exactly, yes, just like that.
Yeah, dumping it on the coach. Yeah,
yes.
Okay, all right. Well, good luck in the playoffs.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
Well, good luck to West Hall. Now, 7 AAA's number 2 seed, North Hall, hosts Sonoraville this week, while in 4A, Flowery Branch wrapped up a playoff spot with its 15-5 spanking of Wanda. Falcons were led by a complete game performance from pitcher Jonathan Hughes as he fanned 9 Bulldogs, and Flowery Branch will be playing at Dunwoody in the playoffs. And at the conclusion of the regular season, saving his best for last, Lakeview's Dakota Chalmers threw a no-hitter with 13 strikeouts in the final game of the season for the Lions as they blanked Towns County 9-zip. Drake Hollander was 4 for 4 with a double and 3 singles, while David Fadul went 2 for 3 with 2 RBI. Soccer is next when Hall County Sports continues.
Turner Wood & Smith is with you every step of the way. Established in the Gainesville area in 1905. Turner Wood & Smith has become Northeast Georgia's largest independent insurance agency by offering professional service at competitive prices. Turner Wood & Smith, insuring your future since 1905.
We're back. I'm Gary Glenn, and this is Hall County Sports. This segment, we go to the soccer pitch. Gainesville's 2-0 loss to Clark Central in boys play last week means the Red Elephants will go into the 5A state playoffs as the Region 8 5A runner-up and the number 2 seed. Tucker will provide the round 1 opposition. The Lady Elephants battled their way to a 2 seed as well with a 6-0 shutout of Clark. Brianna Fair had 2 goals and an assist in that win. They host Lakeside DeKalb. Elsewhere in soccer, West Hall's boys earned the number 2 seed in 7 AAA with a penalty kick win over North Hall. North Hall finished 4th in the region. Dawson County won it with Buford 3rd. The Spartans' Steve Rodriguez tied that game off a deflection in the second half. Then Ricardo Castrita, Jordan Moreno, Isaac Castrita, and Sammy Cotto converted kicks in the shootout. West Hall goalkeeper Cesar Villa saved one North Hall penalty, while another attempt went wide. The West Hall girls made it a sweep with a 6-0 victory, earning the 3 seed and knocking North Hall out of the postseason. Katie Forrester scored twice, while Katie Kirkland added 1 goal and 5 assists. And after those contests, Hall County Sports' Matt Manning talked with the head coaches, Tim Gale of the Spartan Boys and Adam Johnson of the West Hall Girls, as well as coaches Jonathan Lilly of the Trojans and Gary Gaddy of the North Hall Girls, and the boys' team captain, Cesar Villa of West Hall.
I'm here with Coach Gale of the West Hall Spartans. Coach, how do you feel going into the postseason?
Well, our team has made a lot of progress this year. We started out playing with a lot of talent. We had to fix our midfield. We've done a good job of that. These last few games this season, playing region play has been very tough. We have a great region, play great quality soccer, and it's been a real battle. And all these teams going to state playoffs, I really think they'll do quite well. And I do like our chances because we've played very difficult teams and competitions. We don't score as much as we'd like to score, but we really can play with these teams, and I think as we get down the road, we're going to do well.
I'm here with Coach Johnson of the West Hall Spartan girls team. Coach, how do you feel going into the postseason?
Going into the postseason, I feel very strong about where our team is. We picked up some strong non-region opponents and did some really good things against them, prepared us for our region, which is a tough one to play in. Finishing 3rd this year is better than where we were last year, and I feel like it has prepared us to at least go through the first round. So I'm excited for where this team is. I'm excited where these the legacy that these seniors are going to leave.
I'm here with Coach Lilly of the North Hall Trojans. Coach Lilly, can you tell me how you feel going into the postseason?
You know, I think we feel really good. Region 7 is one of the best regions in the state, and if you get out of Region 7 into the playoffs, you've got a shot of going all the way. We got a lot of tough competition, and that really kind of just sharpens our skills in the process. So, you know, going into Region 5 first round, we feel like a great shot of moving on. I think we've got the talent to go a long way.
Coach, can you tell me your thoughts on the season?
We came in the season with some goals in mind. And although we came up a little bit short, which was making the state tournament, I thought we did a good job of conducting ourselves well, doing things on and off the field the way we're supposed to do them. Very grateful for our 7 seniors that we had this year. Showed a lot of leadership, not only on the field but off the field, which made it a little bit easier on me as a first-year coach. Glad to get that first year under my belt. We do have a lot of underclassmen that are coming back that played a substantial bit of time, and so the future looks bright here at North Hall. Disappointed with the fact we didn't get to where we wanted to be, but with the pieces we have in place and the structure that's there, I believe we'll get there next year. Things are looking up. I want to say thanks to our seniors as they move on, but really look forward to next season with what we have in place, and excited for what the future holds.
I think we're gonna do great. Our teams have been improving along the season. We've had some hard trips, hard games, but you know, we're improving, we're getting better, we're getting stronger. We've been doing a lot of training offensively and defensively, and I see our team going good this year. We're solid in the back and up top, like I said before, and we're gonna do good.
Now in the playoffs, the West Hall boys this week will host Cartersville. The North Hall boys play at North Murray, and the Lady Spartans will play at Cartersville. They were barking at the Civic Center in Gainesville last week. That story when we return. I'm back. I'm Gary Glenn, and this is Hall County Sports. Well, the Dogs came to town last week. Georgia head football coach Mark Richt, as well as head gymnastics coach Dana Durante, and University of Georgia president Jerry Moorhead spoke to a crowd at the Gainesville Civic Center on the state of the Dogs. Now, the Gym Dogs are coming off a 5th-place finish at the recent NCAA championships, while Georgia football is coming off an injury-riddled 8-5 campaign, which saw them lose a number of starters along the way, including quarterback Aaron Murray there towards the end. Running back Todd Gurley, mentioned as an early Heisman candidate, should be back to full speed, at least we hope so, after all those nagging ankle problems, while backfield stablemate Keith Marshall, along with wide receiver Justin Scott Wesley and Malcolm Mitchell, should be back from ACL surgery. The Dogs are also beginning with some energy for the defense, furnished by new defensive coaches, including new defensive coordinator Jeremy Pruitt, hired away from national champion Florida State, and inside linebacker coach and defensive special teams coordinator Mike Eckler, nicknamed Coach Red Bull for his affinity for that energy drink from his days at Nebraska, and reportedly, the company keeps him supplied. In any event, I had a chance to talk with both Coach Durante and Coach Richt. All right, Dana, coming off of 5th place at the NCAAs with an unusual situation, tie at the top and all that kind of thing, but the best finish for Georgia gymnastics in some time.
Yes, since 2009, and I think back-to-back Super 6 appearances certainly help people realize that Georgia is making strides in the right direction, and that's something that we strive for. Obviously, anytime you're in the Super 6, you want to be making a run at that title, and I think our athletes did a great job that last day and competed their hearts out and fought for everything that they could. I'm proud of them, and we're already talking about next season and ready to get back in the gym, get to work.
College gymnastics is kind of an unusual animal because people are watching the Olympic gymnasts, and they're these young teenage girls, and you're dealing with women, so it's a kind of a different mindset, isn't it?
It is a little bit of a different mindset. In these days, in the elite world, you want to throw as many skills as you can possibly throw. You want to have as much difficulty as you can possibly have. And in the college world, difficulty is good. The level has continuously risen in college gymnastics, which is amazing. But you also, it's about perfecting that. So you want to have a great level of difficulty, but you want to be able to perfect those skills and compete them with literally 0 deductions. I mean, that's your goal. So it's a little bit different mindset than the elite world. And it's exciting. It's exciting to watch these athletes literally work day in and day out to just be as close to perfect as they can possibly be. And then in front of thousands of fans on a podium, on a 4-inch piece of wood, compete that routine perfectly at that moment. And it's a great challenge, and I'm enjoying it.
I've often thought, who was the first person to get up on a balance beam and do a backflip and say, this is a good idea?
This is a good idea. Let's flip and twist and land on 4 pieces. Yeah, I don't know who did it, but that's my favorite event because it's such a great challenge. I love it. So I'm not sure who came up with it, but I'm kind of glad they did.
Do you find in Olympic years you get an increased interest in collegiate gymnastics?
Absolutely. In gymnastics across the country, we do, especially when we come off of a year like 2012 where we won the gold, we had the all-around champion. Private clubs across the country see an increase in growth in their clubs, and we see that in college gymnastics as well. There's just an excitement and a buzz there. Georgia always has an excitement about the Gym Dog program just because of its success and its tradition and its history. But in places where there's not normally that buzz, they definitely see an increase in their, their attendance, in their just their attention and their awareness of the sport of gymnastics on their campuses.
And we've got a pretty good gymnastics tradition going around here in the Hall County area, a lot of number of schools and stuff like that. And those, I guess, those feeder programs, it's like getting boys involved in Little League baseball and football and basketball and wrestling. The youth programs are so vital, and I guess that filters on up to your sport too, huh?
It absolutely does. The youth programs are tremendously important, and the great thing about gymnastics is whether they stay in it or not through college, it teaches them so much about body awareness, body control. I've heard volleyball coaches at the college level talk about he knew which of his athletes had been gymnasts because they were not afraid to dive on the floor to, I don't know volleyball terms, so forgive me, but to save a ball. And so, a dig, thank you. I should know that. But anyway, gymnastics has such a key part of so many different sports because it does teach you so many great things about body control, body, discipline, body awareness, not being afraid to dive and fall and roll and all of those things. So those youth programs are incredibly important, not just for gymnastics, but I believe for sport in general.
Yeah, well, boys and girls are in all those sports I mentioned as well as gymnastics. Let's go back to the challenge of being a collegiate gymnast. Not only are you dealing with these women that are trying to perform at an elite level and do incredibly difficult skills, but they're also student athletes. They got other things on their mind.
They do have other things on their mind, and we want school and gymnastics obviously to be at the forefront of their mind, but there is that social piece and adjusting to college life and being on their own for the first time. Gymnasts tend to be gym rats where they're in the gym 24/7. So they go to school, they go to the gym, that's all they know. So gymnasts oftentimes will come to college and they have to learn those social skills. So that's part of what we teach too. Gymnastics tends to sometimes be a very small piece of what we're, the coaching part of it. It's the academics and it's the mentoring and it's the life skills.
Sounds like life lessons, Dana.
It absolutely is. And that honestly is my favorite part of the job because I get to watch these young women come in as sometimes scared 17, 18-year-old young girls and grow into these amazing young women and ready to take on any challenge that they face.
Well, fifth was pretty good, but it's not what Georgia fans have been used to in the past,
Yes,
all
I
these
know.
national championships.
Yes.
Is there more pressure from the inside or from the outside for you?
For me, it's internal. I mean, I've always
Driven people.
Yeah, I've always wanted that. I was in 1988. I was at the Olympic trials and close to making that team, but didn't quite do it. At Nebraska, we finished fourth collegiately many times, never quite won that title. So for me, it's been my drive. It's been my motivation to be at the top of the podium. So I don't really take that outside pressure. I know what fans want. I know what the community is expecting. But for me, it's internal. And these athletes that come here, it's the same thing. They came to Georgia to win. So we're taking steps, we're taking strides, and no promises, but we're ready to get back in the gym next week and go to work.
Well, and I got to ask you, Coach, what you got coming back? What's up for next year, huh?
Well, we have we have anywhere between 3 and 6 freshmen coming in. It just depends. Some of them are training for the Olympics in 2016. So there's some things that they're going to weigh, whether they come for a year and then go train again. We have an incredible sophomore and freshman class. And our juniors, we've got a couple of juniors that are going to be key, but our freshman and our sophomore class are tremendous. They carried the load a lot of the times this year, and they're just incredible competitors and have learned a lot in the last year or two. So I'm excited about next season. In fact, I told our staff yesterday, they forced me to take yesterday off because I was just ready to get back in. I told them it's going to be a great summer and it's going to be a great year next year. We're really looking forward to it.
Mark, you still enjoy this kind of stuff. Is it part of the job, or is it something you really get out and meet the folks?
Oh, I like it. I mean, our fans are always coming to us. They're always supporting us, coming to Athens, and we love that and appreciate that from everybody. But it's our chance to go visit them, and tell them thank you and hear what's on their mind and answer any questions that they have and just, spend time with a bunch of Bulldogs. That's a good night.
Oh, yeah. You just wrapped up spring practice. Give me your thoughts as you come out of spring.
Well, I think we got better. I think that we've got a long way to go yet. I do think we have the ingredients of a really good football team, and I think we've got a group of coaches that are doing a very good job of giving out expectations of how things need to be done and being very consistent with that. not leaving anything a mystery to these guys. I think this offseason is going to be crucial for them to get better individually and as a team. And then in the fall, we'll have 29 days to put it all together. But I feel good about how we came out of spring.
Reflecting on last season where injuries just decimated. I mean, there was no question about it. People always say, that's no excuse, but sure it is. I mean, you're taking key cogs out of your machine, and that's a great excuse to me. But you still, you came up with a winning record, made a bowl and all that kind of thing. But I know it's not something that you're satisfied with.
No, not at all. I mean, we want to win more than 8 games, obviously, and the injuries were certainly a factor. But as the season's going on, you can't sit there and cry about it. You just got to go. You got to think of, regardless of who's there, how are we going to win? What are we going to do with the guys that are healthy, and how are we going to win this game? And so that's what you focus on. But when you reflect, you do see how damaging it is when you miss out on some of the most dynamic players on your team.
But you look now, but you got to see a little bit of that new look toward the end of the season, unfortunately, because for Aaron, but at least you got a little kind of a jump start on things, and you got a chance to see your new guy under fire a little bit, Hudson Mason.
Yeah, Hudson. I thought Hudson had a good spring. I think Hudson did a good job of running our system, and he should. I mean, he's been here going into his 5th season now, and I think he's ready to lead this team. I think he's ready to play extremely well for us. I felt like he really extended his hold on the first-team quarterback spot, so I was proud of the spring that he had.
I play this game a little bit with some of the coaches around here. I say, okay, tell me this, fill in the blanks. We're going to be pretty good at this, but to make a run at a championship, we've got to get better at this.
Well, we're I think offensively we'll continue to play well like we have. We obviously got to play better defense, and our special teams, there were some very good things that happened, but there was the few mistakes we did make were huge mistakes. There were some catastrophic deals, dropped punts, dropped snaps, high snaps, issues that became turnovers, blocked kicks. We got to get a lot better in that area as well.
Your running game should be back at full strength.
It should be. It should be. I feel confident that our line will be able to provide the space, and we got if all our backs are healthy, we're going to have a great battery of backs. I can promise you that.
Off season, some more distractions, off the field kind of stuff. Mark, has this gotten, I don't want to say worse, but progressive because of all the distractions that kids get into, all the social media and all this kind of thing?
Oh, I don't know. I just think, any given year, anything can happen. Any given weekend, anything can happen, especially when you're dealing with college-age kids. You got 125 we're in charge of, and so, kids that age do stupid stuff. I know I did stupid stuff back in that day.
And sometimes we get away with it, sometimes we don't.
Yeah, exactly. If I'd have got caught for everything I did, it wouldn't be pretty. And I imagine that's true of a lot of people. But, I think what's important is, how we handle it and making sure we're disciplining things properly and that they learn from it and move on in a positive direction. You want guys to grow from it. You want guys to mature from mistakes that you make, and don't make the same mistake twice.
You haven't done anything yet, made any decision of what?
No.
Okay. A question about a specific guy. Get right here in the Gainesville-Hall County area, East Hall, Sterling Bailey. What about Sterling?
Sterling is a guy who's battling for a starting job like a bunch of guys on that D-line. He shows signs of, being able to make plays. He's a guy that has to continue to, get after it every play with intensity every play. And but he's got a lot of ability, and we got a lot of faith in him.
All right, Coach. Looks like as you make the tour here, drum up the excitement for next year. And it's always exciting to be a Georgia Bulldog.
No doubt.
All right, go Dogs. Okay. Thank you, Coach Mark Rick. All right,
yes,
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Now the football Bulldogs will be opening their season on August the 30th against Clemson in Athens, while the Gym Dogs are looking forward to next year, 2015. And by the way, speaking of football, a lot of our local high school programs are hitting spring football practice this week. Never stops, does it? Back to wrap up this week's show in just a moment. Gary Glenn back on the set of Hall County Sports Television along with Rob Bruce, pastor of McKelvey Road United Methodist Church. And Rob, we're in the middle of a sermon series on what the church is all about.
That's right, Gary. We're right in the middle of a sermon series on what it is to be the church. I read some articles right after Easter where a number of churches tried to attract people into their congregation by offering free television sets and iPads and doing special plays based on zombies and giving away Starbucks coupons. One of the news outlets I read mentioned about this. As any good Christian knows, if there were three things Jesus stood for in his time, they were consumer electronics, overpriced coffee, and television shows about zombies. Gary, you and I both know that's not what church is about. Church is about feeding the hungry, about offering the thirsty something to drink, about clothing the naked, about welcoming the stranger, visiting the sick and those in prisons. And if you would like to check out a church that does just that, come see us at McEver Road United Methodist on Sunday.
All right, Rob, we'll see you then.
All righty, Gary.
We start off the wrap-up with golf. The Gainesville boys team continued their winning ways by claiming the recent 36-hole North Georgia High School Invitational held at the Shasta Golf Club in Dahlonega. The Elephants finished with a 10-over par 586 total, but that was better than 18 other teams. It was their 7th tournament title of the year and their 3rd consecutive NGHS Invitational title. Gainesville finished 7 shots ahead of second place easily South Carolina. Red Elephants sophomore Spencer Ralston took the individual title with a 2-day total of 3 under 141. Red Elephant teams, boys and girls, then went on to sweep the Region 8-5A championships, both as teams and individuals. Gainesville girls always seem to beat each other up in going for titles, and this time it was senior Meg Callahan who came out on top. Third time happened to be the charm for Meg as she was playing in her 3rd straight region tournament playoff, and this time came out on the right side of things for the first time. She parred the first sudden death hole to get by teammate Ashley Bishop after both had led and tied with 76s. The Gainesville girls shot a season-best 232 in winning the championship, and that was 67 strokes ahead of second-place Flowery Branch. In taking region number 3 in a row, the Lady Elephants had the top 4 places individually. Now the Gainesville boys made it 4 region titles in a row with a 50-shot win over runner-up Flowery Branch. This time it was Nathan Williams who won the individual title with a 2 under par 70, 2 shots better than his teammate Spencer Ralston. The Times reports that this was Williams' first high school win. He was region runner-up last year. Now, the Elephants had the top 6 individual scores, and both Gainesville teams will now go on to their respective state meets on May the 19th in Augusta. Ralston, by the way, later on finished second at the Wells Fargo Junior Classic at Johns Creek. After back-to-back 68, Spencer was 2 shots back of the winner, UGA commitment John Augenstein of Kentucky. After the track sectionals this past weekend, a number of our local guys and gals qualified for the girls' state track meet this weekend in Albany, and the boys' Georgia Olympics all-class state meet next weekend in Jefferson. Now, these are not all of them, but among those going on to the state track meets out of the various classes in the sectionals include some of the top qualifiers from our area, such as for the girls, West Hall's defending state champion Maia Caldwell Booker in the 100. She finished first at the sectionals. In the long jump, she finished 7th. Flowery Branch's Alicia Parks was 2nd in the discus and 6th in the shot put. North Hall, out of North Hall, Trina Puente was 5th in the 200 and 3rd in the 100 hurdles. Michaela Ellis was 3rd in the 1600 and 3200. Gabby Hoffman was 1st in the pole vault and 4th in the 100 hurdles. And Harper Seymour of the Lady Trojans 1st in the discus and 3rd in the shot put. Okay, turning to the boys here. For Gainesville, Colton Quinones won the sectional discus and qualified for the state meet. Out of North Hall, some guys. Quentin Miles, 1st in the 3200 and 2nd in the 800. Bryce Schubert was 2nd in the 1600 and 5th in the 800-meter runs. Zach Hill was 2nd in the 3200. Destin Bennett was 1st in the discus and 4th in the shot put. Drew Bryant was 3rd in the discus. For Riverside, Chris Howard was 2nd in the triple jump and 4th in the shot put. And West Hall's Hunter Atkinson was 2nd in the shot put. And for you recreational runners, this is the weekend for the Hall County Schools Fit Families 5K and 1-mile runs this Saturday starting at 9 at Laurel Park. Okay, now congratulations to some North Hall athletes for getting to play their sport some more. In basketball, Blair Stewart recently signed on to play college ball at Truett McConnell. Austin Trulove is signing with Truett to wrestle. And Hayden Savage is signing on to play softball at Piedmont. Well, looks like it's going to be Ben Corley as the new Chesterton Assistant Principal Athletic Director. He'll replace Stan Williams, who recently resigned his position for personal reasons. Former West Hall principal Greg Williams has been filling in on an interim basis as the AD there. Now, Corley is a 1991 graduate of North Hall, holds current state certification in several areas, has been at West Hall High School as a science teacher, assistant football coach, and assistant track coach since 2012. Corley's career in teaching and coaching spans 19 years, including serving as a head coach in football for 2 years at Winder-Barrow, head coach in basketball, 4 years as the girls coach at Winder, and 3 years boys coach at Union County, and head coach in golf 1 year at Winder. He's also served as an assistant AD already, 2 years at Clark Central. Now he gets to be a head athletic director. Well, Johnson High School is getting 2 new coaches. Tiffany Kirkland will become the school's next girls basketball coach, while Brittany Smith will take over the softball program. Kirkland currently serves as the girls basketball coach, softball coach, and girls track coach at Ola Middle School in Henry County. She'll be replacing Corey Bays, who stepped down following the 2013-2014 season and will now be on at Martin Elementary as a teacher. Kirkland has also served as Ola Middle's athletic director, department chairs for physical education and connections. She's also been an assistant varsity girls basketball coach at Union Grove High School. Smith is currently a senior at Emmanuel College in Franklin Springs, and she is a 2010 graduate of Jefferson High School. And finally, we had some really interesting events here locally last week as the Canadian national canoe and kayak team made a stop at the Olympic venue to help select their national team. And the Southeastern Bull Riders were at Chicopee Woods. We got all of that coming up on next week's show, so don't you miss it. That's our show for this week. I'm Gary Glenn, All County Sports.